I saw myself in a video. You never want to see yourself in a video. And I'm like, oh my God, look, I'm just sitting like this, like totally no bandas, just kind of like belly hanging out. It's like, oh my God, what is going on? You know, so the consciousness, it starts to come in to everyday existence, you know. But your old habits can be, they just show up, and it's sort of hilarious. You can't get mad about it. You just have to go, oh, there you are, my old friend. Welcome back, welcome back. Which brings us to Santosh, right? Contentment. So this is one of my favorite sadhanas because, well, basically it's about being joyful in your life. How many people, you know, they go through the drudgery of life? You see these people? Even if they're successful, they're super driven, they're, you know, they have all these accolades, all these awards, all these, and they're just miserable human beings. It's unfortunate because they've lost the joy of their existence. Each soul is here for joy, for bliss, and that means you, and that means me. The problem is that we have to choose it. And it's like coming to practice. Practice can be a drudgery, you know, it can be like, oh my God, I have to practice. Or it can just be a joy, you know. I mean, today for me was a real challenge because it was hard. It was a hard practice. And to do those poses and talk those poses at the same time is a lot, I mean, because you don't have the opportunity just to be inside yourself. So to teach and do it is a little bit more challenging. But it was so joyful, you know what I mean? It was just like, oh, you know, I'm falling out of this pose, or my form is off, or I hit that one very nicely. Either way, it was all joy. It didn't really matter. So happiness is on a curve. What goes up will come down. What brings you joy will be the root of your sorrow, because in a transient world, everything changes. So whatever you cling to, you will lose. So from the perspective of the yogi, what we do is that we live in the present moment fully, blissfully, with no expectations of how that should look in the next moment. In the next moment, if someone you love is gone, I know we've all lost people, there's the joy of that. I remember Byron Katie, one of my favorite teachers, she was talking about how she had lost someone that she loved dearly. And, you know, like she would see his socks, or actually I think it was a dog. Yeah, she saw his paw tracks in her house. He was like this big white, fluffy dog. I don't know what it is. We'll just say it was a Labrador. I don't know. But he would go out to the lake and he would drag in mud into the house. And like somehow he got hit by a car or something happened. I can't remember the full extent of the story. But the fact was that for some time she didn't clean up the paw tracks. There was like some paw tracks in the white sofa, the white couch, and the white rug. And because she just said, I miss him, and I get to see his paw tracks. You know what I mean? Like, and what was interesting about that is that when he was alive, what made her the most angry, what do you think it was? The paw tracks. So, what brings you joy will be your sorrow. What brings you sorrow will be your joy. So from that perspective, then we know that everything is not inherently, doesn't belong to us. It's a gift from the universe. It's like you get to borrow things. People, stuff, experiences, they don't belong to you. Not on a existential permanent level. They belong to you on a soul level forever, you know? They're yours to keep. But then she did this other healing method that I thought was really interesting. She said, what are 5 things that are better now that he's gone? Well, 1 is I don't have to clean up paw tracks. 2, he's not peeing on the corner. 3, I don't have big vet bills, and so on and so forth, right? She just counted them. And so nothing is one-sided, you know? Everything has a plus and a minus. And so, although she loved her beautiful soul companion, her furry soul companion very much, there was a joy in having him, and there was also a joy in letting him go. And that's kind of the way we are in our lives. There's things, you know, I know that when I was a younger woman, there were certain habits, things that I liked to do that were joyful that now don't bring me joy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, or just think about it as a child, you know, playing with dolls or your race cars. Wait, maybe we're still doing that, right? Bigger cars, bigger toys. But things that eventually won't bring you joy. Eventually, it has a diminishing return. But there is something that never changes. Out of the silence you were born, back to the silence you were born. You return. That something is there in the silence. It's the bliss of your existence, regardless of the ups and downs of everyday existence, the circumstances of your life, the gains or loss of your life. It's always there. Each soul is here for the bliss of your own existence. Now, for some of us, we think, well, I want the easy path. I want the abundant path. I want the less painful path. But your soul may not want that. That may not be what best serves your soul. And my assumption, knowing you guys, because you're in the room with me, is that you're ripe with challenges in your life. Because you said bring it on a soul level. Because that's where growth is. And also so that you could be a lighthouse for others. In other words, the healing you do, the empowerment that you do in your own personal soul work will make it illuminate the path for others. Have you ever been in the jungle and they have have you ever been to a dense jungle? Anybody ever been to the jungle, like the Amazons or maybe Tulum or somewhere, and like in Brazil, right? Like if you're not on a path, you can get turned around pretty quickly, because everything looks the same. It's just dense, right? So as light workers, which is what we're doing here, what we're doing is carving out a path in the jungle of life, where others that would not find their way without you get to follow your path. And by the way, you're following in the footsteps of others who come before you. So we're all in this together. And so, but there are some people in your realm and field of influence that wouldn't make it without you. So it's a great responsibility and joy to work for yourself and also do this altruistic work for the good of all, in particular those all that are around you. It's not a forcing of anybody. You can't force a flower to blossom. Give that one up. Just forget about it. You try to force the flower to blossom and it's going to wilt, it's going to die. You may not even make it past the bud stage, right? It's actually a counter effect. But when you provide sunlight, when you provide bliss, when you provide water, nurturing, unconditional love, if the flower is meant to blossom, it will. I remember driving home the other day, and I'm sure all the people with allergies in Dallas are not happy about this, but there were some trees, I don't know what they are, but all of a sudden, overnight, they all had white blossoms. Did you guys see these trees? I don't know, is it oak trees? What is it? They're big trees. Is it oak? I don't know. But I was like, oh my God, I wanted to cry. I was like, oh, you're back. And it was funny because it was like every tree of that sort had all got the message, Like it was not just the tree in front of my house, it was a tree down the street, and there was a tree over here by Gaia, and it was a tree everywhere of that sort. They had all conspired, let's all blossom tonight. Woo, great idea! And I was like, oh my God, how beautiful, how amazing. It's blossoming, because it's meant to. Somebody, one of those trees lit the light, And everyone else went, oh, good idea, let's blossom. And that's what we're doing, that's our soul work. Good idea, let's blossom. So let's blossom together today. This is your joyous, blissful sadhana of contentment. Even in the great sorrow, despair, it's available there. It's the bliss of soul expansion. So that's my gift to you. Hands to your heart. Two more, inhale. And the last one now, inhale. All my life, all my blessings. Namaste. Alright, let's find our Shavasana. What is it, like 9 o'clock now? Okay, so we've got 10 minutes. Head away from the Buddha. You're good. Head towards the Buddha. Feet away from the Buddha. You'll get used to my dyslexia.